Welcome to Grizzly News. I'm Garrison Douglas. Our top stories for today include a few campus announcements, as usual, as well as we look at the Grizzly baseball team's crushing victory over Emory this past Friday. We also bring you some political coverage of the 2016 presidential primary. We report the news that's important to you, only on Grizzly News. First up, Coca-Cola. Catherine Brooks of Coca-Cola will present WIN, Essential Factors for Success in Business. And you all are invited to gain insight on how to propel your business career. Being hosted by the Marketing Club in association with the School of Business's The Board of Visitors Speaking Series, the event will be held on April 21st in room C1100 from 2 to 3 p.m. Happening today, a Live Fest, being held from 3 to 7 p.m. This is an event that you don't want to miss. They have one check-in table and every person must check in and get a wristband. With the wristband, the first 300 people get free meal tickets from Grizzly Dining. The first 225 people get a free pair of sunglasses. Students can get a drink from RSOs, as well as students can get swag from RSOs as well. And students can check out picnic blankets, yoga mats, footballs, and frisbees. There will also be an appearance from city radio hosts. Now, another event that's coming up are the Roar Awards, which will be April 21st at 6 p.m. in Elvis. The event's host and MC, none other than Momni Morena. Should be some exciting stuff. And speaking of exciting stuff, GGC rolled out its new website last week. It's a part of the administration's rebranding package and marketing strategy. Focusing on the college's game-changing affordability and academic structure, you can expect to see more changes on this campus to highlight GGC's new path. But that's all we have for campus announcements. We'll be right back with more news after the break.
Hi, I am Mohamed Marino, hosting the 2016 JGC Roar Awards. Come watch me host the Roar Awards before Donald Trump has me arrested or deported.
The War Awards, hosted by Momni Morena on April 21st in Elvis, only at GGC.
I do what I want and I get what I want.
You're under arrest for insider trading.
Don't struggle, baby!
You're fighting with the wrong redhead!
You gotta get it together. Start tonight by taking Rachel to her dandelions meeting.
Our troop came in with $100,000.
Oh, my way back.
Hey, this is where we sell rejects.
Uh-oh. That batch is burnt.
The Boss, rated R.
Welcome back. Now, it's been a minute since we have covered the presidential primaries, so let's go ahead and get into it. Senator Bernie Sanders is taking a sledgehammer to the political status quo on Israel. Sanders refused to back down Thursday night from his claim that Israel in 2014 used disproportionate force to respond to Hamas's rocket fire from Gaza, while calling for the United States to stop being one-sided in the conflict there. In doing so, he upended a long-standing tenet of American politics, that unflinching support for Israel is non-negotiable. Sanders' unorthodox remarks at CNN's Democratic debate came just days before voters head to the polls in New York tonight, where Sanders is now fighting to also narrow the significant but not insurmountable deficit he faces against former New York Senator Hillary Clinton. The Empire State's 19.79 million residents include the country's largest Jewish population. Some 1.8 million of the country's 6.8 million Jews live there, according to the 2014 American Jewish Yearbook. And one of the most active pro-Israel constituencies also reside. Sanders' nationally televised stance could represent a watershed moment in Democratic politics. As the sole Jewish candidate in the race and only one to have lived in Israel, smashed a taboo that could lead others to follow suit. Indeed, a potential shift in the party's position on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has long been brewing, with signs of ferment bubbling to the surface in recent years amid the rancorous relationship between President Barack Obama and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. CNN political commentator Van Jones, a former Obama political aide, said Thursday night that Sanders' focus on Palestinian rights during the debate was extraordinary. Let's take a look at a clip from the debate.
Does Secretary Clinton have the experience, the intelligence,
to be a president? Of course she does. But I do question her judgment.
President Obama trusted my judgment enough to ask me to be Secretary of State.
Do you regret your advocacy for the crime bill?
My husband has apologized. He was the president who actually signed it. Senator Sanders
what about
voted
you,
for it.
Secretary Clinton called them out. Oh, my goodness. They must have been really crushed by this.
The question was about the transcripts of the speeches to Goldman Sachs. Why not release them?
When everybody does it, okay, I will do it.
Secretary Clinton, you just heard her. Everybody else does it, she'll do it. We will release our taxes. Jane does our taxes. We've been a little bit busy lately. You'll excuse us.
Well, you know, there are a lot of copy,
Senator, when are you
going to
when?
Unfortunately, I remain one of the poorer members of the United States Senate, and that's what that will show.
You know, if Senator Sanders doesn't agree with how you are approaching something, then you are a member of the establishment.
Interesting comment, but you didn't answer the question.
I did. If that's
no,
the
you
way
didn't.
yes, I did.
I think we're going to win this nomination, to tell you the truth.
I love being in Brooklyn. This is great.
A Gallup poll in 2015 found that 60% of Democrats viewed Israel favorably, down from 74% the year before. The poll found 48% of Democrats sympathized more with Israelis than Palestinians, as opposed to 83% of Republicans. Stephen Cohen, a Hebrew Union College professor who has studied the evolution of Jewish American views on Israel, said Sanders' views will resonate with the majority of American Jews, who are broadly democratic and secular, and with young ones in particular. He had said they are pro-Israel, but they are anti-sentiments as well. They lack confidence in the sincerity of the Israeli government in pursuing peace. The Democratic Party is changing. Younger Democrats are still pro-Israel, but they're opposed to many Israeli policies. So it looks like it's a shift Sanders is clearly conscious of. He not only defended his remarks about the disproportionate military response, but challenged Clinton to address the claim directly, to which she apparently pandered and evaded as usual. Now, the Clinton camp is apparently feeling some pressure as well to secure their New York lead and gain victory in the concrete jungle. Bill Clinton joked Friday that Bernie Sanders supporters would shoot every third person on Wall Street, if given the chance, a riff on his broader defense of Hillary Clinton's economic record. He had said, "One of the few things I really haven't enjoyed about this primary, I think it's fine that all these young students have been so enthusiastic for her opponent, and he sounds so good. Just shoot every third person on Wall Street and everything will be fine." He has said this at an event in Fort Washington, New York. He pointed to fewer people working on Wall Street since the Dodd-Frank Act was passed as proof that the financial reforms that his wife supports are effective. He then added, "The inequality problem is rooted in the shareholder-first mentality and the absence of training for the jobs of tomorrow." As he elaborated on her support for Dodd-Frank, he went on to say that. Sanders ripped into Bill Clinton on Twitter later Friday, tweeting, "We should be encouraging young people to get involved in politics, not disparaging them. This seems to be a pattern." And Sanders' campaign manager, Jeff Weaver, told CNN's Anderson Cooper Friday that Democratic leaders should be careful about driving away the young voters who are supporting his bid. Bill Clinton's comments came just a day after the most contentious Democratic debate yet, in which Sanders hammered Hillary Clinton for her speeches to larger banks. Clinton fired back, pointing to Sanders' interview with the New York Daily News to argue that he would let the big banks decide for themselves whether they should break up. His remarks Friday is the latest in a series of statements he's made that have received attention on the campaign trail. The previous week, he suggested there were different standards regarding gender in the ongoing debate between his wife and Sanders over who was more qualified to be president. Days earlier, he got into a fiery exchange with Black Lives Matter protesters over a comment Hillary Clinton made in the 1990s when she called young people who commit violent crimes super predators. These are just the latest of mudslinging from both campaigns leading up to today's important vote. In New York, Democrats have 247 delegates up for grabs. And if we take a look at the current delegate count, you can see why these two candidates have sunken to a level both sides promised they would never reach. Hillary Clinton is sitting at 1,790 delegates, which puts her only a shy 593 delegates behind securing her nomination for the Democratic Party. Sanders is sitting squarely behind her at 1,113 delegates, even after winning 8 out of the last 9 contests. With a Clinton victory tonight, there leaves very little opportunity for Senator Sanders to secure the nomination for president. And most recent polling shows that Clinton is going into tonight's vote with a double-digit lead over Sanders. So tonight is a night of great importance for both camps. We'll have to watch this very closely. On the Republican side, it's looking like a contested convention is in sight, with Donald Trump leading the pack at 758 delegates, Ted Cruz at 538, and John Kasich at 145. Both campaigns have started to switch their ground game from vote grabbing to delegate grabbing, as to prepare for a second ballot initiative at the Republican convention. But we'll have to leave it there. We have some more news for you after the break.
Come watch Mamadi, the second funniest guy on campus, host the War Awards.
Wait, why not number 1?
The War Awards, hosted by Mamadi Moreno on April 21st in Elvis, only at GGC.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Welcome back. Now, as many of you know, last week was Spirit Week, and boy, was exciting. Between all the games and activities, you could see the real Grizzly spirit. But Spirit Week closed on a really great note with the Grizzly baseball team dominating over Emory University, smashing their opposition in a 14-3 blowout. Grizzlies were in the stands cheering them on, giving the team apparently a boost after ending the first inning behind without any runs. Matt Mahoney from the Grizzly Digital Network interviewed the Grizzly of the game, Michael Hodorowski, and talked about the resounding victory. Let's take a look.
We're joined now by our Grizzly today, Mr. Michael Hodorowski. Mike, how we doing?
Doing good, sir.
Today is a big win for the Grizzlies in more ways than one, because this team, you weren't even here the last time we lost 2 games at home. How important was it for us to kind of forget this week and get back on the winning ways tonight?
Yeah, it was good to get back on this winning streak. We lost twice in a row this week, and that was pretty bad. But yeah, it was a good win for us tonight.
And was tonight more maybe about not that the Grizzlies won, but how the Grizzlies won? I've got 16 hitters contributing for 14 runs at the plate. Is that kind of the mantra of this team, that anybody can do it on any given night? And tonight, everybody did it.
Well, yeah, we have some pitchers that were hitters, so it was good to see them get some ABs up there too.
I think Trevor Bradley's on the short end of that stick. All the position players got a bat, but he got the start today, and Trevor's one of 6 pitchers that pitched today. And again, the mantra goes back to how deep and talented this team is. What's it like out there when those pitchers are just out there rolling, throwing up zeros?
I mean, those guys are throwing strikes. It's a quick innings out there. It's awesome. It's a good game.
So George Gwinnett now now out to 43 wins and 4 losses this season. How much for you, being on last year's team, was just this close to achieving their goal? How much has that fueled you and a lot of the returners to come back to this 43-4 mark this season?
Oh, man, a lot. That's all the motivation we need to do well this season.
And so the Grizzlies get the postseason right around the corner, but beforehand, we've got to finish out this season. Reinhardt next Tuesday. For you, have you kind of turned the corner on this season? You looking forward to kind of this stretch run and the last chance for you?
Oh, yeah, of course, man, but I'm just going to take it day by day. That's all we can do.
So, Mike, again, congratulations. A big day for you at the plate. 3 times on the base path, 2 runs coming to score, as again, the Grizzlies win by a final score of 14-3. And with that comes some shout-outs, man. Look right in the camera. Give me some shout-outs.
Shout-outs. Shout out to my family. They couldn't be here today, but I love them so much. Shout out to my teammates. I love them too. And shout out to the Grizzly fam.
Absolutely. A lot of love here from Hotto here.
Thank you, Mahoney.
Well, keep up the great work, guys. And Grizzlies, don't forget to go out and cheer on our athletes. Tickets are free, so there's no real financial excuse for you not to go. So unless you're working or studying, I should see you all out there. But that's all the news we have today. But before we end the broadcast, I just want to say one thing about this stuff that's going on in Mississippi. For those of you who haven't heard about it already, the governor there signed into law a bill that would essentially protect the religious rights of business owners. I normally keep my personal opinions out of our broadcasts and try and deliver just the news and facts. But today I can't stay quiet. I have a microphone and I'm going to use it. This religious freedom law is none other than state-sanctioned discrimination at its finest. There's no doubt about it. We are a nation that is supposed to provide equal rights to all people. We're all humans, and I object to this law and everything that stands with it, and call on any state that is considering to follow Mississippi's lead to just stop and think for a moment what you're doing. Not only are you considering legalizing discrimination, you're also giving the state government the right to interpret what Christian, Jewish, or Islamic scripture says. This bill not only hurts and demonizes the LGBTQ community, it also leaves all religious institutions open to losing control of their faith. This type of legislation isn't good for anyone. No one wins. Mississippi conservatives and Christians may think they just got a victory, but they've lost. We are a nation that abides by our Constitution and the ideals that all of mankind is created equal and should be treated equally in the eyes of the law. We just got to stop the hatred. We've got to. Otherwise, one day we'll look in the mirror and we're not going to recognize ourselves or our country. And that day is coming soon, believe me. So my hope is that many of you will hear this and, protest or something like that. But that's all the time we have. I'm Garrison Douglas, and as always, keep growling, Grizzlies.